Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to see each of you. And I see some familiar faces here. So it's just wonderful to see all of you. I am Irene Weinberg, and from my heart, I want to welcome each one of you to Grief and Rebirth podcast. And what a pleasure to be bringing Michelle Clare back to our podcast, because she's had a very special interview with us already on the podcast, which you can listen to by going to ireneweinberg.com or on YouTube or social media, getting onto Grief and Rebirth podcast, and you will find Michelle under the mediums there. She's terrific. So be sure to check it out. When Michelle was only 12 years old, her grandfather was given his angel wings. It was then that she noticed the continuing connection and communication she shared with him. This same connection continues with her other loved ones when they make their transition home. On November 1st, 2011, Michelle suffered a traumatic brain injury. A couple of months later, while recovering, she noticed her ability to commune with spirit had dramatically increased. She received an unexpected life-changing message for her son, and soon after, she began receiving life-altering messages for other people from loved ones who had transitioned. Michelle is known for giving factual information, including personality traits, characteristics, names, and validations of signs that loved ones send. During readings, she is divinely guided by the client's spirit team to provide comfort as well as hope to each individual, to empower and inspire them. Her deep love of people and spirit shines through as she helps people to understand that they are not living life alone. Guys, we are not living life alone. It becomes evident that each of us has a spirit team consisting of our loved one, angels, and life guides who are constantly helping us from the other side. Michelle lives in Phoenix, Arizona with her husband, 3 teenagers, and several dogs. She connected with one of her angels during her first near-death experience. She has met 3 life guides during her third near-death experience. And I'm going to be asking Michelle some questions about this so we can all get to know her even better. Michelle and I are going to begin tonight's event with this brief chat, and then Michelle will begin to communicate with as many of your deceased loved ones as time will allow. Please leave your requests for a reading, as well as any questions, in the chat portion of this Zoom, so that Rachel Salvato, our techie guru for Grief and Rebirth podcast, can respond to you. And perhaps there will also be time towards the end of this event for Michelle to answer a few of your questions. Okay, Michelle, let's talk about this. You've had 3 near-death experiences, and you also received a life-changing message from your son, and you are connected to your angels, and you say you have 3 life guides. All of this and any of it, what would you like to talk to us about today?
Yeah, that's a lot to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about my first near-death experience. So in that one, the main experience that I had was I was really shown that angels are real. So I was in a hospital. My niece had been born that day, and I had a seizure. And what happened at that point in time that I remember is I remember opening my eyes, and I was laying in this room, and it was all white. It was like the walls were alive. They were almost breathing, and each molecule or each cell was radiating light and love. And I looked up, and I was laying with my head in my grandma's lap, and my grandma had passed away a couple of years before that. And as I looked up at her, I looked a little bit beyond her, and I noticed this huge angel that was probably about 12 feet tall. Wow. And I remember looking at her, and in my head, I thought, what is your name? And she answered me in my head. She said her name was Madeline. And so for the first time, I realized that they were telepathic too. And I was really just in this place with this unconditional love, being reconnected with my grandma, seeing this beautiful angel. I have no idea how long I was there. The next thing I know, I hear them yelling, code, 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 and I was back in my body.
And then you had 2 more after that, right, Michelle?
Yeah, one wasn't enough.
One wasn't enough for you. Let's start again.
Yeah.
But where did they?
So then the second one is much more in detail. I don't know if that was my Wi-Fi or yours, but I didn't hear you.
Excuse me?
Oh, I couldn't hear you. I didn't know if my Wi-Fi.
All right. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Okay. So what happened with the second one?
So the second one, after I had my third child, my son, I had a lot of complications. So I was in and out of the hospital about 6 weeks after I had him. And they decided they were going to do a procedure called a DNC, which was just go in. It was going to be 45 minutes and then outpatient, I would be on my way home. During this procedure, they actually ruptured my uterus accidentally. And instead of seeing that happen, what I saw was, as I was laying on the gurney in the operating room, I had this beautiful white shepherd who had also transitioned a few years before that. And I saw her walk into the operating room and lay her head on the table and look at me. And the next thing I knew, we were gone. And we were on this amazing beach. And in this area that we were, it was once again this complete unconditional love. Everything was alive. The leaves, the cells in the leaves, the water, the air, it was unbelievable. And we were just running and running on the beach. And I could look at her and know what she was thinking. I knew she was so happy to see me and she looked so healthy. And we were just running. And I noticed I never got hot. I never got tired. I never got thirsty. And I was really aware that it was about being in the present moment. The funny thing about this is I actually hate to run. So if you saw me running, I'd say call 911. There is an emergency. So why this was my near-death experience is kind of funny because it's nothing I enjoy doing in this life, although I do love the beach, but you will not find me running. However, while we're on this beach, what happens in this near-death experience is I realize my soul level, so not the part that's running, but there's this other part of me that is called to my son, who is about 6 weeks old at this point in time. And he was clearly at the house, I believe, with my mom and dad, and I was in the hospital. But I could feel him calling to me on this soul level, being very concerned that I was leaving. And I remember going to him and saying, "Don't worry, I will find a way to stay." And at that point in time, I was able to, I would say, like start praying or calling out for help, but it didn't feel like calling out for help. It was more like ushering in what I knew was already there. And a lot of people would call this the Christ light. Some, it had this energy. And literally, I remember the room filling up with light and then waking up from the surgery. And the next day, the surgeon came in and said to me, "Michelle, there was someone watching over you yesterday. You should not be here after everything that happened." And I definitely knew why I was there. But once again, with this energy, with both of these first two near-death experiences, I would say my mediumship skills got better, my inner knowing got better, but I was really busy and focused about just life. So it was like, yes, I knew it was there, but I wasn't really ready to focus on it or make it part of my daily life quite yet.
And then you had a third and you met your 3 life guides.
Yes. And my third one, yes, I did. So I was in my kitchen and I was up on a 10-foot ladder. We have really high ceilings. So I was changing the batteries in this candle. We have candles up there where they turn on automatically every night at this time. So I was changing the batteries and my younger 2 kids were home. My oldest was at school. And I said to them, as soon as I'm done changing these batteries, we're going to go get your sister. And as I climbed back up the ladder, I felt when I got towards the top, it start to shift. And I knew I was going to fall. And at that moment, it was like I was yanked out of my body so quickly, so strong. And I remember I was then facing it and I could see my body suspended in the air. I could see the ladder suspended in the air. And I was standing with these 3 people who I had never met in this life, but I actually felt like I knew them really well, like family or better. And we were sitting there and they were talking and they were saying, "Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay or go?" And I kept thinking, this is amazing. My body's going to hit the floor in 1 second. And I literally felt like I had forever to decide what I wanted to do. And once again, there was so much unconditional love all around me and this sense of completeness. Like I felt like I was absolutely perfect exactly the way that I was. There was nothing that was being expected of me in a way that would have made me felt like, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. Not at all. And so as we were sitting there, we were actually standing and I could see my body and the ladder suspended in the air. I saw this angel come in, and it's not the same angel from my first near-death experience, but it was a different angel that came in. And I knew that angel was there to follow through with my wishes. So I knew that if I chose to stay, somehow the angel would interact so that I was able to stay. And if not, then I would be safely where I needed to be or go home. And at that point in time, I saw my son and my daughter. And this all happened so quickly because
because there's no time there.
There's no time there, but everything I'm telling you, my body really was going to hit the floor in a second, you know. But and so as I saw my kids, I decided to stay. And at that point in time, I believe, you know, I was told, like, Michelle, it's time to wake up. You're going to go back. You're going to be a medium. And I believe I was told even more things that I don't remember today. But there was this part where I was told, you know, there are more purposes in your life than you've realized or you've wanted to open up to. And it's time to embrace that. And that there's a lot of people that you can help. And so I did obviously fall off the ladder, and my body, the back of my head hit the corner of my granite island, and I missed my brainstem by half an inch. Oh, and that was the difference of me surviving the fall or not.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I hope this is the end of these experiences for you.
I keep saying my next one is my last one. I'm going home next time.
And then you're going home. Yeah. You know, I want to share with everyone, Michelle and I were talking, and when some of you have never experienced this before, and you're going to be comforted and amazed, and it's such a complete change of your reality when you understand that we do go on. And I happen to be experiencing right now that my own mom is getting ready to transition, and we're now talking about getting her into hospice and all, but before she just started to lose it a little bit. But before that, she's known about my world and what's happened to me. And she's been in galleries with me like you all are experiencing. And I said to her, you know, Mom, when that time comes, I'm going to be having mediums connecting with you. On the other side, they'll need a switchboard in the sky for you. I'll have so many mediums calling you. And she said to me, give me 2 months to get used to my new surroundings, and then you can start calling. I mean, so that makes such a difference in your ability to process what is going on, because it's not a fear of death. It's just a passion for living life well, good to the last drop, until your time here is over. You've learned what you need to learn. Would you agree with that, Michelle?
Absolutely. And I love that she's told you to give her 2 months, because we are talking about a place with no time. So I'm not sure how they're going to calculate that exactly. But I've actually had a friend whose dad transitioned, and he came through to me that morning and told me that he had passed before I even got the phone call from her. So I don't know. I'm not a medium that believes they need a certain amount of days or time. It's absolutely about connecting with your loved ones when they're ready and when you're ready. And I find that they're always ready. I haven't had really a situation where they're like, no, not talking to you, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true. And some people take their time to communicate or to contact a medium. But I know, like, my brother-in-law passed recently, and within a month after he passed, he came right through. There, you know, they want to talk with you. So on that note, are you ready, Michelle? Should we go ahead and do some readings for people?
Yes, let's do some readings.
All right. And then after, when Michelle is about done, she'll let us know. And then maybe if she has some energy, if you want to put some questions in chat, she may answer the questions. And then we'll conclude for the evening. And I know anyone who doesn't get a reading, and even if you do, will probably want to contact Michelle and make a private or whatever. So I'm going to say it again, but just before we get started, her email, her website is michelleclaire.net, MICHELLECLARE.net. CLARE.net. Okay. So Michelle,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Do you want me to start with the chat? Is that where you would like me to start?
What, well, can you see everyone in Zoom, Michelle?
Yeah, I have 3 different pages of people.
Okay. So would you prefer Rachel to work with you from the chat?
Rachel, do you want to, let's go with the chat. Is that okay, Rachel?
Sure. Let me try to find, I'm sure everybody would like a reading.
I will do my best.
Let's start with Patty Cobb Baker.
Okay, let me look. Where is Patty? Okay.
Patty, I'm trying to unmute you. Okay.
All right. Hi.
Hi, Patty. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. Who would you like to connect with?
My husband, who's in spirit.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So sometimes when you see me looking down, I do write notes sometimes because sometimes I get a lot of information really quickly. And I feel like I need to tell you, you get a lot of information really quickly from him too. He's a very fast-paced energy. It's like he's got a lot to say. We've got to cram it all in. We don't want to miss a thing. This is the energy that he's giving me, right? So I feel like when he was connected to his body, he was a really, really busy guy. He's not sitting on the couch hanging out 24 hours a day. This guy has a lot of things to do. He says to tell you, I'm still really, really busy. There's a real big outdoor energy. So I don't know if you like to golf or hike or get out, but this is the energy he's giving me. So there's part of me that I want to tell you, he says, this is still part of my plan. I'm still enjoying the outdoors. And he also says, so he shows me sunsets or sunrises. I can't really tell the difference, but I want to talk about, I don't know if you specifically are looking at sunsets or sunrises regularly, but I literally feel him next to you when you're doing that. I also want to talk about heart shapes as being a sign from him that he's around you. So look for the heart-shaped stone, the heart-shaped leaf, the heart-shaped water petal. There's also this part where I'm talking about 2 dream visits from him. So if you haven't recently had a dream from him, you are going to have this from him. And he's showing me the number 5. So I don't know how you relate to the number 5. It could be the fifth of a month. It could be May, the 5th month of the year, but I'm just getting 5. So I want to acknowledge that for you. And then I also want to talk about acknowledging either a birthday celebration or anniversary in this time frame. Okay. The other thing I need to tell you is that he literally, so I don't know if your nose tickles at night, but I want to say that he's literally like touching you at night. You're going to feel it on your face or maybe your right arm because I feel him on your right side. Okay. You also need to know that he knows when you talk to him because he says you talk to him all of the time. He wants you to know he's hearing you. He's hearing exactly what you're saying. He's also showing me the number 16. So it could be, I don't know, January 6th or the 16th. I don't know how those numbers come in, but he's showing me that too. And I see him handing you too. I want to talk about handing you this huge bouquet of roses. So thank you for everything that you did for me. So I don't know if he had an illness that took longer with his transition. That's the energy that he's giving me. And I want to say thank you for caring for me. Thank you for making the decisions. Thank you for driving me places. He also kind of laughs and he says he wasn't really that great of a patient. So you there were probably some times where you wanted to shake him just a little bit. That's the energy that he gives me. But he says, you know, that's me kind of being stubborn, doing my thing. Okay. I think you are muted because I can't hear you.
I was saying that is so true. I have guilt because I yelled at him sometimes when he would do things.
Right. So let that go because that's certainly not holding him back and he doesn't want to hold you back at all with that. There's no reason to carry that. Listen, he just admitted he wasn't the best patient. So that's okay. It's just where he was. But, you know, once we transition this earthly world, we have such a greater view of what we can see and an understanding of things that we didn't. There was also this part of him that was mad and feeling robbed and angry that he was leaving soon. This was not his plan. He had other plans. And so that's kind of where that frustration and maybe some sense of denial would come out at times because I feel that a little bit. But really what you need to know is he appreciates you so much for everything that you did for him. He acknowledges not being a good patient, and he hears everything you say to him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patty. Have a wonderful evening.
To Michelle.
Thanks.
All right. Let's try Eva.
Okay, I'm looking for Eva.
EVA.
I'm looking.
I see Eva.
Is she on the first screen?
She's on the second screen.
Okay.
I should have just unmuted her.
I did. I pressed the unmute button.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm still looking for you, but I can
see
hear
now
you.
on the
Oh,
first
you're
screen.
looking.
I see her on the first screen at the bottom now.
and when they start talking, it goes to the first screen.
Oh, well, that's good to know. So she's on the first screen now. Welcome.
On the bottom right.
Hi. Oh my God, I'm just like so shocked that I was picked. I never get picked for anything, so this is really shocking for me. Yeah.
Well, who did you want to connect with today, or do you have a specific question?
Well, I did lose my husband 11 years ago, but recently in February I lost my daughter.
Okay.
And I'm grieving. I'm still in a lot of grief, and I have, some remorse about things, and the usual kind of guilt feelings of that I should have maybe done this or that, and so I'm very sad at this point, and I would love to be able to, if you can, connect with her and maybe make me feel a little bit better.
Yes,
hopefully.
Absolutely. So let's start with this. I just got to tell you, they come in together. So they're both absolutely around you is the first thing you need to know. The other thing I want to say is that the human side of us, it is so natural for us to feel guilty after one of our loved ones transition, whether it was expected, unexpected, or whatever. We're always saying we should have, we could have, what if? And the thing is that I find our loved ones on the other side, and this is really coming from your daughter, so this is why I'm being prompted to say this, they really don't want us to carry that energy because it's not helpful for us, and it's certainly not helpful for them. So it's very natural for us to do that, but I want your daughter to say, Mom, lay that down. That's what I feel her saying to you today. Lay that down, Mom. I got to talk to you about the butterflies too. So paying attention to the butterflies is a sign that your daughter is around is going to be very important for you. The other thing that I want to talk about as you move through this, so I don't think this has happened yet, but I do believe you're going to be getting dream visits from her. Now your husband comes in, he's got a good sense of humor. So he feels like he likes to do funny things to get your attention. So it might be like the lights turn on by themselves or the radio turns on. He feels like electrical. He also feels like a very logical, smart man. So I don't know what he did for a living, but he's very left-brained is the energy that he gives me, okay? And he likes to have things lined up and organized, and he still does. With your daughter comes in as this free spirit, and she says to tell you, Mom, you know that I lived every day of my life to the fullest. And I really feel this huge, huge heart. So I want to say that I feel that she is somebody who would have been friends with, the kid in the cafeteria that no one was sitting with. She would have said, hey, come sit with me. This is the energy that she's coming in with. She says to tell you, she says, Michelle, I got my huge heart from my mom. So she knows that you are a very loving person and this is how you lived your life. And she says she learned this by example. Really important for you. I also want to talk about, I don't know if you have her fingerprint or her picture in a locket. It's on my neck, but I want to talk about that from her. The other thing that I want to talk about with her is acknowledging one more. So she has another sibling, or where does the one more come in?
She has two siblings, actually.
Is one sister and
a brother and a sister. Yes.
Okay, that's what I think. So I want to talk about the sister. I want to talk about her being around her sister a lot right now, because I do feel like her sister is really, really struggling with this on a deep level, probably more than she's able to open up to you about.
Exactly. She keeps everything. Yeah. She's more concerned about me. She says, Mom, I'm worried about you, but I know that deep inside she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
First time she ever sought a psychiatric help, actually. Yes.
Well, I think that's the right place for her to be, because she really does it's like, this is what your daughter's telling me. She doesn't want to burden you with how she's feeling, but she does need some assistance and guidance working through this. There's a lot of guilt there too for her. So I don't know if
Yes.
she's like, I should have called her more. I didn't listen to her.
Exactly.
What this is.
Yes. Yes.
That's the energy I'm getting. So I will tell you this. Your daughter is fine. All of our loved ones are actually better than fine. They're amazing. We're here on earth. We're fine. They're amazing. Okay. So know that your daughter is amazing. Know that everyone know your loved ones are amazing. But I do want to say that she does have concern specifically for her sister. So she wants her to continue with the therapy or whatever this is, because she needs that safe place. And she doesn't want her to keep beating herself up. That's the energy that she's giving me. I'm asking her what else we need to know. I want to say oops. So I don't know how your daughter transitions, but I want to say oops. So it feels somewhat unexpected is the energy that she's giving me. Okay. You don't have to mention it, but that's just what I want to tell you. So if somehow she has some responsibility in this, I just want to say it doesn't feel like it was planned for a long time or intentional in that way. Do you understand what I'm saying? It might
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
It was totally shocking for me, although she had the pneumonia, but it wasn't, I don't think that was the cause. I'm still waiting for results, but of the autopsy, but it was totally unexpected and shocking. For me.
Was she in the hospital? Can I ask you that?
She was in the hospital, 2 months before that.
Okay.
Yes. After the COVID,
Mm-hmm.
her lungs were inflamed and everything.
Okay.
And then there were some after effects from it, that like the pneumonia, but it wasn't diagnosed until she came back to New Jersey, unfortunately.
Okay. So that might be the oops that I'm feeling, is that it was missed. Something was missed.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I want to go with. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense to me. Know this. I think what you're going to find, because I feel strain on her heart. So I think you'll know more in the next coming weeks. But there is strain on her heart that I feel too. So her heart might have had some damage from
exactly.
the COVID.
She had a very rapid heartbeat that, there was. She was seeing a cardiologist here, but it was, I don't know. She still had the problem breathing at night, and I don't know what happened, honestly. She wasn't at home when it happened. So,
right. I'll just say I'm feeling strain on the heart. So, you'll find out more. I will tell you this also, for you, your daughter, your son, she sends you a lot of music. So pay attention to the songs that come on the radio or the Spotify or whatever you're listening to. There is this really wanting to be around you a lot in that way. And then I do feel like with her brother, it's funny because it's like, I want to poke him. So it's really that sibling relationship still. So I would say she's going to do things to get his attention. He's not going to know it's her. He's going to be like, why is there a feather in my trunk or something like that? But it's her playing with him to let him know that she's around.
Well, thank you. They were very, very close in age as well. Just 19 months apart, and they were very, very close growing up. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so
light
much.
And love.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Let's try Kesha Horsley.
Yes.
Hi, Kesha. How are you this evening?
Hey, I'm okay.
Okay. Do you have a specific person?
Yes, my son.
Okay. You know what? I kind of knew it was going to be your son. I already felt his energy coming in. And I want to tell you, it's like he's knocking on the door. So I want to say, Mom, I'm here. Mom, I'm here. The other thing about that with his energy is, I don't know if you hear like a knocking noise coming inside the structure of your wall, or if there's like, does that make sense?
Yes, a lot.
Yes, well, you can thank him for that. It's him letting you know that he's around, because that's the energy that he's giving me, is knocking. So I really want to tell you, this is his energy. Mom, I am around. I am here. Really important for you to know. He's making me just want to say this really loudly and clearly. I am better than fine. I am amazing, mom. I am amazing, mom. So I don't know if you worry about him in that sense. Like, is he okay? Is he in a good place? Is he fine? Yes, mom. Yes, 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 yes. Here's the other thing. I got to tell you, I don't know if he wore hats or not, but I want to put a hat on my head. So I'm going to put that out there with the energy that he's giving me. But the other thing is there's almost like this hats off to you type. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for raising me the way that you did. And thank you for giving me everything that you had. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me okay? Okay,
Yes.
good. Sorry, my internet, I think, froze up. So I just wanted to make sure. So so from him, there's this appreciation from you. So he gives me the number one in connection with you. So you were his number one. I feel like you are the person who keeps him in line, who keeps him going, who keeps him on track. And he's showing me the number one. I'm also going to tell you that I think you probably look at the clock a lot and it's 11:11 or 1:11 in the morning or something like that. That's him sending you the number one too, to let you know that he's around. Is he your oldest son also, or your
It's
only son?
my only.
Okay, so that's also part of that number one.
Yeah.
So that's a really strong connection. And he says to tell you, mom, you know, you are his number one too. So you're going to see that in a lot of ways. And I think it's even going to be for you if you're out driving and you see license plates and they're going to have a lot of ones in them, or they might have other messages on them. Those are really direct to you from him. I also want to talk about flickering your lights. So I don't know if you have a light bulb that's burning out often or flickering, but if not, pay attention. That's going to be coming up for you to let you know that he's around. And he's telling me to say June. So I don't know what June is, but I just want to put June out there. There's also this heightened energy coming in for you. So I want to say there's going to be more healing, more connection, more release as you move into June. Listen, I also have to tell you, he hands you this huge bouquet of flowers for Mother's Day. They're actually really beautiful red and white roses. And I, you know, there's this part where I want to tell you that you're like, you are his number one, but not just number one in every, like almost in every way of his life. Like, I feel like you knew him better and you guys were more than just mother, son. You were his best friend. And so he's talking about like really you stand in this role of number one in so many ways of his life. No one knew him better. No one loved him more. And he absolutely appreciates everything that you've done for him. He says to take care of yourself. Okay. I know that's really hard in this situation, but he really wants that for you. And I know you're having a hard time doing that. I will tell you, I'm affiliated with a group called Helping Parents Heal. I don't know if you've heard of them. You might want to look into them, but they've been very, very beneficial for a lot of parents that I've worked with. So that might be a place where you can find a connection, because he also shows me that you feel kind of on this island of by yourself, trying to navigate it and handle it, and very alone in this situation. And so that might be another reason why that would be a good place for you to be able to connect with other parents who are going through similar things. Here's the thing I need to tell you from him before we wrap this up, and that is that he still wants you to live a full life. And when I say full, that means he wants you to laugh when you can laugh. He wants you to smile when you can smile. I think we got to mute someone here. Hold on. He wants you to enjoy the moments that you can enjoy. He really does. And he says, Mom, as you continue to enjoy life and have these good moments, I get to enjoy them too, because I'm going to be right next to you every step of the way. I actually wouldn't even be surprised, because now that I say step, I hear footprints. So I don't know if you actually hear, I don't know how you hear footprints, but that's what but it's like I hear him walking. So I wouldn't be surprised if you hear him in your house, like walking.
Wow. It weirds me out sometimes. And I'm like, I hear things, like I can't explain it.
Yeah, he's very, well, it's funny because I feel like he wasn't a quiet person in life. So he would have come in and just slammed the door. And I have a son, so I know, like, even on a good day, bad day, the door seems to always slam. It doesn't matter, but that's the energy he's giving me. So you would have known when he was home, the door would slam.
The door slammed, like literally slammed. Like,
Okay. Is that since he's transitioned, he slammed the door?
he slammed it like a human, like he was there, and
Yeah.
it scared me. I was like, oh my God, what was that?
Yeah. So that's why he's slamming doors now. So he will continue to do that to get your attention, just to let you know that he's around and he's okay. He wants you to be okay too. So he will keep doing those things, but he is loud. So the knocking on the wall sound, the door slamming, all of those things, he wants you to know, Mom, I'm right here. I'm right here, Mom, and I'm doing amazing. It's the biggest message for you today.
Wow. Thank you.
And
You are so welcome.
And by the way, Keisha, there will be, this will be on, we will record this and you'll be able to hear it again. So you can refer right back to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keisha. Sending you light and love.
Thank you.
That was great. Can we try Brett next?
Hi.
Jackson.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Such
Wonderful.
a lovely program so far. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Who would you like to connect with today?
I'm trying to connect with my husband who passed in November.
Okay. Okay, take a deep breath for me because there's a lot of emotion. Yeah. Okay. Listen, really the first thing I have to tell you, and this is going to confirm what you already know, he did not want to go. And I feel that so strongly. So that might have been things he was talking about right up until the end, where he's like, I don't want to go. I'm not ready. I don't want to go. That's the energy he's giving me. Having said that, I want you to know that he absolutely transitions into the light very peacefully, surrounded in love. And you actually might have heard him talking to either his dad or his grandfather, but I want to talk about loved ones in the room. And that's true for all of us. So I will just throw this out there for everyone listening. None of us die alone. So even if it is you in the middle of the Sahara Desert with no one else around you, none of us transition this life alone. It just doesn't happen. We always have our angels and loved ones and life guides with us. So that's the energy. But there is this part too where I feel like he is just mad. So he's really mad, and he has this slower transition. So he had an illness, whether this is cancer or whatever this is.
He had cancer.
It's the decline that he's giving me. Now, I don't know if he actually would get mad and yell, but I feel really, really mad.
Yeah, he wasn't really an angry person in life, and he actually was very positive throughout his treatment and his illness. But I could tell in the end that yes, he was not fighting it, because anyway.
Yeah. So let's go through that. So that was just him acknowledging kind of what he was going through. The big part is he needs to talk about transitioning in the light. And now he wants to talk about signs that he's sending you. So he's showing me a few things. I don't know if you recently had leaky faucets or if that's coming up for you, but I want to talk about dripping water. Dink, 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 or maybe the toilet flushes by itself or something like this. There's water signs that he's going to use to connect with you. And then I also want to talk about dream visits. So I do feel like you're going to be getting those if you haven't already. And also I want to talk about him on your left side, because his energy I feel on your left side. So you might feel heat, tingling, or just his hand. There's also, he's talking about telling you. So I want to talk about the dog. So do you have a dog with you now?
We don't have a dog, but he was very connected to my next door neighbor's dog, a little terrier dog. And
does your neighbor have that dog still?
Yes, in fact, I walk with my neighbor. We hike up on our property around here in Connecticut, and the dog is so funny. It'll all of a sudden just run circles around me, and my husband used to kind of like, get the dog jazzed up. And then anyway, so yes, the dog. Yes.
The dog still knows when your husband's around. So when the dog is doing these funny little things, it's almost like your husband getting him going still. So that's it. Yeah. So that's going to be one way. But I also feel like if you brought the dog to your house, it could almost just like point to you which room he's standing in. They have a very strong connection.
The dog, yeah, the dog actually comes up from my neighbor's property to my property, which is a little distance away, in the morning, and I feed them treats. And
Okay. Where does the number 2 come in? He's showing me the number 2.
I'm not
Do you have 2 kids? Is he one of 2? Are there 2 boys? Where does do you understand it in that way?
There are 2 boys, he and his brother. We
Okay.
didn't have children,
Okay.
but he does have a brother, and his brother has recently expressed to me that he's really been feeling a lot of signs from him. So like way more than I'm feeling, but that's great. I'm glad that they're connecting.
Yeah. I think he'll send his brother the number 2 also, because when he shows me the 2 of them, it's interesting because I do want to talk about the 2 of them. They're so close, the 2 of them. They were best friends. They weren't just brothers. Like they really had a great relationship. So I want to acknowledge that. So for his brother, he will probably see the number 2 often on license plates at 2:22 on the clock, things like that. For you, I do feel like he's sending you a lot of signs still. It's just you have a lot of grief that you're working through, and that's totally normal. As you continue to work through it, it will make those signs easier. He also tells me you're supposed to be writing or journaling. So if you're not already doing that, please add that. And you can also do that in the sense of starting to write down the signs that he's giving you.
I have been doing that. Yeah.
So he would like you to expand that a little bit more. Interesting. I want to tell you, he brings in Archangel Michael. So I want to tell you, you need to know that you are protected, that you are safe, that you are surrounded, and that you are going to live an amazing life.
His name was Michael.
Okay. Yeah. And he brings in Archangel Michael to protect you while he's not in his body to do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So welcome. You are so welcome. I'm sending you light and love.
Thanks, Michelle. I'll reach out. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pilar. I just unmuted her.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Good. So I would love to hear from my son.
Okay. Can I get his first name, please?
His first name is Carlo.
Okay. Okay. So let me just tell you, he comes in with a great injury. Not injury. I don't know where that came from. Did he have an injury and that was why he transitioned?
No.
Okay, so I don't know why he had me say injury. We'll see. Because that was not where I was going. I was going to say he has great energy. Okay. And I want to talk about him like he's very he owns the room when he walks in. This is it, like he walks in and everyone's like, hey, let's go, it's him, let's go say hi. I feel like he's very much a dynamic personality. Okay. I also want to talk to you about him saying looking toward the light. So I don't know if you like to go for walks and that's when you connect with him, but there's something about being in the light. So obviously he's clearly in the light, but there's something about when you're in the light on a walk or whatever this is, he's walking right there with you. Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about for you from him is coins. So pay attention to finding coins. You're going to find those in your living room, in the car, in the parking lot. There's going to be a lot of coins around. I need to talk about also something coming up in the next few weeks. So I don't know if this is a birthday, anniversary of a transition or whatever this is, but I want to acknowledge something that would be like a celebration type energy from him. Okay.
Yes.
And I also want to tell you, that I feel like you've heard his voice. So if you haven't heard his voice, I feel like that will be coming up for you. I think you're going to hear him say mom, or you're going to smell him too, because he's making my nose kind of tingle right now. So there's that energy about that for you. Also, clearly for all of the moms out there, all of your kids feel this way, but since I'm with you right now, let me tell you, flowers, balloons, big hugs for Mother's Day coming up, very much wanting you to know that he's going to be right there with you. And also, I don't know, but I think he liked his dessert, because I feel like you're supposed to make sure you have like a really good dessert to celebrate, whether that's cake or whatever that is. But I want to talk about that for you. Also, the other thing he's showing me as a sign that he's around are going to be heart-shaped. So heart-shaped stones, water puddles, leaves, all of these things. I'm also seeing there's something else. Does he have a brother here?
Yes.
One more? Okay.
Yes.
I want to talk about brother. I want to talk about really trying to connect with him through music. And I don't know if his brother is actually just really struggling with this right now and having a hard time, but I want to talk about I'm around him a lot. I'm around him a lot. I want to connect with him in music. I want to connect with him when he's sleeping. Talking about trying to help him have peace in his heart, because I feel like he does not have peace about this situation at all. That's the energy I'm getting from your son, from Carlo. And I want to talk about also, though, that it's really important, Mom, that you know that I'm okay, and that my brother knows that I'm okay, that I am okay, and I'm going to continue to be around you guys. I want to talk about a car. So did he have a car? Where does the car come in?
No, he didn't have a car, but before he passed, he was in the process of getting his driver's license. So he drove my car and his dad's car and his brother's car.
Okay. Yeah, because I still feel, I feel that excitement about car energy. So he definitely enjoyed like working up to getting his license and driving the car. I would also say with that you should pay attention to license plates, because he does feel like he would send you messages through license plates. He's a fun kid. He's a really fun kid with a great heart. He really is very kind, very caring. I would actually say he's, empathic, or very good at knowing what people are feeling when he's around them. I feel like he could look at people and say, oh, they're having a bad day. He didn't have to have someone tell him that. That's just the energy that he's giving me. More importantly, he says, make sure my mom knows that I am doing amazing. So I want to talk to you about what he's doing up there. He's talking about hanging out with other kids around his same age, and he's also helping them learn and grow. So we don't ever stop growing, right? Whether we're here on earth or we're transitioned in heaven, where our soul will always continue to evolve. And with him, there's this part where he says, Mom, I am still growing and learning. It's so funny though. He just shows me like car keys. So it's like he wants you to know he got his license, which is so funny. I haven't had anyone show me that, because I don't know that they drive cars in heaven, but that's like the energy he's giving me. So know that he's still achieving the goals of the things that he was looking forward to in life. And he wants to tell you that he is not leaving your side. He says, Mom, I'm going to experience life with you every single day. So pay attention. You're going to hear him around you, in the sense that I think you'll hear him say your name. I feel like you're going to smell him, and some more things like that will pop up.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. Thank you too, Irene.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Chris?
Okay. Hi, Chris.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm doing better. Thank you.
Wonderful. Who would you like to connect with today?
My son.
Okay. Can I get his first name, please? The reason I'm asking is because there are so many kids lined up right now. I feel like I've got to like start taking numbers. Okay.
Sebastian.
Sebastian. Okay. All right. Let me see what he has for you. Oh, wow. Okay. So I want to say that he very much had a very similar look to you, because I feel like I want to talk about from the chin up. So I don't know if he has your eyes, your nose, your chin, but this is similar. I also want to talk about from Sebastian that he says you've been working really hard on connecting with him. So I'm pretty sure you've gotten into this deeper on other levels, because he says, tell my dad that he hears me. He sees the signs I'm getting. He's right on target. So he's really talking about the growth that you are doing to make your own connection with him and how far that has come. Now, I also want to talk about, like, I almost feel like I'll ask him questions. So it's like you go to lunch and you're like, should I have the chicken or should I have the beef, or little things like that. So he's talking about the small talk to the big things. You guys are still communicating and you're doing it really, really well. Have you actually heard his voice?
Yes.
That's what he's telling me. So
In a
perfect.
dream. In a dream shortly after he passed.
Okay, you will continue to, and I actually expect that you might hear it while you're conscious and not in a dream. Like when you're waking up or walking down the hall, I think you'll hear him call you dad. That's the energy he's giving me. The other thing I want to talk about is seeing his silhouette. So if you haven't seen that yet, that's going to be coming up. He talks also about, I think he sends you lots of orbs. So pay attention to the pictures you take. I think you're going to get orbs or streaks of light. That's really important. And I also want to talk about too for you that if you haven't already done mediumship classes or something along those lines, those are coming up for you. Because he's really talking about like, my dad is such an amazing communicator and he's going to continue to get better. So this drive that you have to communicate with him, it's going to push you even further. And someday Irene will have you on here doing the readings. That's the energy he's giving me.
That's good to me.
Yeah. So I would say, just know that you are absolutely spot on track with your son. I want to acknowledge another. So does he have a sister?
No.
Well, who's the one?
He was
other?
adopted. He was adopted, but
okay.
He actually looked like us, my husband and I. So
okay.
we all, yeah, that was really right on.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one of the first things he says. I want to talk about one other though. So I don't know if you're thinking of adopting again, but I want to talk about one other. So I'm just going to put that out there and I'll let you figure that out. But one other. Just stay open to that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say is it's interesting because I want to talk about a celebration in November or December. And it doesn't just feel like the holidays, it feels like something different. So I don't know if it's a birthday or an anniversary, but there's something in there that he's having me highlight the energy on. So I'll go ahead and leave you with that. But just know you are absolutely on track with your connection with him, and he's not going anywhere.
Great. No, I know. I feel it. And I actually have the thumbprint that you were talking about.
Okay. You have that.
Yeah, and we had to sell the house that he took his life in 10 months ago, and we just moved last week. So it was very difficult, and I felt like I was leaving him behind. And then I walked through the house empty, and then I smelled him.
Okay.
And I grabbed the thumbprint and I said, let's just leave together. And we did.
No.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful. And that's a really important point that you just brought up, because I think a lot of people feel that way. They don't want to leave a house that has good memories or where they feel they saw their loved one the last time or whatever that is. But here's what I can tell you, they go with you. So that really is our human sentimental side. And I understand that side. But your loved one, you can't lose them. You could go to a different country and they still know where you are, and they're still going to send you signs, and they're still connected with what's happening in your life. So knowing that it doesn't matter where you go, your loved one's going with you does help make things a little easier. But I have to tell you, he's going to walk beside you every single day.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Chris. Yeah, sending you a lot of light and love.
Thank you.
All right. Melissa? I just unmuted her.
Hi there. Hi, Melissa. I'm looking for you on my screen. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Who would you like to connect with, Melissa?
Thank you. I would like, I'm with my husband, and we recently lost his sister, my sister-in-law.
Okay.
She's the one we'd like to hear from.
Okay, can I get her first name, please?
Yeah, it's Pam.
Okay. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is pay attention to the feathers, because you're going to be finding feathers from Pam as a sign that she's around. That's also could be in the middle of the night where your nose feels like it's tickling with a feather. That's her energy of letting her know that she's around you guys. I need to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I feel like you either advocated for her a lot, you supported her a lot, you helped her along this journey very strongly. She appreciates that. I feel her energy very closely around you. So I don't feel like sister-in-law. I would say feel more like sisterly energy. Okay. And I want to talk about friends. So I feel like she was able to come to you as her friends, not just as her family, which is really important for her. Having said that, the other thing she shows me, the color pink, which is really important. So pay attention. You might see like a pink orb, or you might get it in a picture or something like this. This is a way of her letting you know that she's around. I want to say I'm having a hard time breathing. So I don't know how she transitions, but I feel it in my chest area, hard time breathing. Does that make sense? Okay. The other energy that she's giving me though, is to let you know that I want to say this, her soul quickly releases. It's like her body, and then she's like, whoo, and here I go. That's the energy I get. And she says to tell you, she's like, you know, the party started when I got there, right? That's the energy she gives me to tell you. So it's kind of like, I feel like all of heaven was just waiting for me to start the party. Having said that though, she's got such a sweet, kind sense of humor. I feel her around you very much. I also want to talk about flickering the lights or light bulbs burning out. So she's also going to be someone who sends electrical signs. And I'm talking about, so she's showing me, I don't know if there are emails from her. She's just showing me email, or if you see her name pop up on your computer or something, but there are going to be electronic signs like that you will connect with from her. It's also going to be something similar to, I don't know if she's playing with your computer, you're having a hard time logging on, but there's a lot of energy like that she's giving me with the electrical things. And is her mom here still?
Yes. And she's really having.
Yeah, I want to talk about my mom, and I didn't feel like she was with her mom, but I wanted to talk about mom. So please let mom know that she's absolutely around her. I think there are going to be dream connections in that sense. And I also, once again, Helping Parents Heal would be a wonderful resource for her mom, I believe, because her mom is feeling very alone. She's telling me right now, very alone. Not just in life, but in grief. And so that would be a wonderful maybe connection for her. The other thing though, is that I need to tell her mom, please, will you tell her mom that she is like sending her dreams and dream visits. And I want to talk about their hands. So I don't know if they have the same hands, or if her mom is now wearing her ring or her bracelet or her watch or something like that, but it's something about from my wrist to my fingers that I want to talk about with her. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the ocean. So I have no idea where you live, but I feel like you guys need to go to the ocean, or that she had a connection to the ocean. If it's not the ocean, it could be a lake or something like that. But I want to talk about water. And there's this connection with her and her ability to communicate with you guys when you're by the water. Now, is it you or your husband that has recently had the dream from her? Because I want to talk about dream.
No, not maybe his mom, and she's not here, but not a dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You might want to ask his mom, because I want to talk about this being very solid. Okay. And I want to talk about it being real. And there's going to be like these words of wisdom, or it's just this different level of connection. And having said that, I will just share with you quickly, because she's showing this to me. So I want to say this. Since my mom transitioned, I've only had one dream visit with her that I remember. And I remember just hugging her and being like, she was as solid as hugging another human. And I remember in this dream, she said to me, Michelle, I'm around you this strongly. When you're awake too, you just don't feel it. And so that's the energy that she wants me to give you, your husband, and her mom, is that strong connection that we have in those dream visits with our loved ones, where we're like, we see them, we touch them, they're as solid as the table. They are that solid next to us all the time. It's just a matter of we don't perceive it very well when we're conscious.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa. Sending you guys a lot of light and love.
Thank you.
Michelle, do you have it in you to do one more? I know you've done a lot.
I do. Let's do one more.
Okay. John Manning.
Hi.
Hi, John. How are you tonight?
Good. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Who would you like to connect with tonight, John?
My son.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can I get his first name? I definitely feel son, male energy around you.
Liam.
Okay. So he comes through with a great sense of humor. When you say Leo, I just feel like this huge personality walk into my room is the energy that I get from him. He's very thoughtful. And I want to say he has this part where he wants to be organized and planned coming out. Okay. I also want to talk about that he sends you coins, but he also does some funny things. So I want to say, like, you set your keys on this table and you come back out and they're like on this table or they're on the other side. There's a playful energy that he has. I also want to talk to you about saying thank you for talking to me still, because I can also tell that you too are really trying to grow your connection with him. And he's talking about being very thankful that you're willing to do that. I want to tell you, I have the writing energy. So I don't know if you're writing a book, if you're writing your experiences, if you're journaling, but there's something about writing that he's showing me for you. So I think that's going to be important for you if you haven't already started that. Why do I feel like you could be writing a book or a book about his life or a book about your connection with him? Have you thought about this yet?
It's been 13 months, so it's a little early for that, but I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep that in mind, because if nothing else, I feel like you should be documenting like your connections with him, your signs from him, whatever this is, because I really truly feel a book coming up for you. And it does feel like a book about you and him and your story with him. And it's almost like how the story continues. So there's this part where I really want to say to you, yes, Dad, I'm not connected to my body, but my story and your story, our story, it is still continuing and we are still connected. And I'm supposed to tell you, he listens to you better now. That's the energy he's giving. So I don't know if you used to give him advice in life and he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, Dad. That was kind of his energy, but he says, tell my dad I'm really listening good now. So I feel him listening to your energy now, listening to what you're saying, listening to what you're thinking when you're connecting with him.
Fantastic.
Yes. And also pay attention to your electronics, because he's also going to send you signs that way, whether it's lights flickering or something, coming up on your computer screen where you're like, how did that get there? That's another big way he's going to connect with you.
I think it happened twice today. So
yeah, perfect. All right. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, I think that, are there any questions that anyone would like to ask Michelle about the other side or what goes on or whatever, just before we close for tonight? Anyone coming through with anything in our chat with a question? Otherwise, I will conclude our evening. I'm not seeing any big questions, so I'm going to say to all of you that I know that I speak for everyone in thanking Michelle for this incredible event. Isn't she amazing? She's fabulous, and she's just such a blessing. And for all of you who want to connect with her for private readings, group channeling, and more, you can connect with her at, and once again, I'm going to spell it, www.michelle, MichellClare.net. And here is a loving reminder that you can see all of the interesting and insight-filled Grief and Rebirth podcast episodes on IreneWeinberg.com. And make sure to follow us and like us on social at Irene S. Weinberg on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. As I always like to say, to be continued. This gives us so much joy to do this for all of you. Many blessings, loving thanks. Thank you again, Michelle. And bye for now.